Ravens Rundown will be live for Monday Night Football tomorrow. Could not be more excited. 7 p.m. Eastern Time is when we're going to go live. About hour 15 minutes of pregame coverage. So if you're looking for a way to spend your Monday night watching the Ravens, go ahead, click that thumbnail right there. Join us. If you want to make sure you're by the channel, hit that subscribe button because, again, pregame coverage, we're there for the full game. A little bit of postgame coverage as well. Best place to be if you're a Ravens fan on YouTube. We've got the Harbaugh Bowl tomorrow night live in Los Angeles SoFi Stadium. Could not be more excited. Chargers on a little bit of a hot streak right now. This game's looking a little bit more important than it did at the beginning of the season, but nonetheless, excited for this one to kick off on Monday night. Right now, Ravens sitting at 3-point favorites. That over-under's at 49.5. I'm smashing that right now. No diddy if I'm you guys. Alrighty, let's waste no more time. Let's get into our favorite segment of the week. It's time. Producer Chip doesn't know this yet, but these are Joey's keys to victory. I've got it trademarked. Number 1, run the football, please. For the love of God, hand it off to Derrick Henry. If you look at his last 3 games, it's been his last 2 games. It's been his lightest 2-game stretch of the season so far. 16 carries, 68 yards, 4.2 yards per carry against the Bengals. Then Steelers, 13 carries, 65 yards, 5 yards per carry. He's averaging 14.5 carries, 66 yards, and just a little bit under 4.5 yards per carry over the last 2 games. That's not going to cut it. And I know you see the stat floating around. If he didn't get a single touch in the fourth quarter, it's a little bit of like one of those fake stats. It's just for clicks. They only had 2 drives. One of them was 2 plays and then an interception. The last one was kind of like trying to get it. It's in that 2-minute drill. You're not going to hand the ball off a ton. You're going to have your better pass catching back in the backfield, but still 13 carries against Pittsburgh. That's unacceptable. That needs to change because we all know he's still an absolute workhorse. So I've got an over-under for you guys, all right? Let's play a little bit of Vegas. 100 rushing yards against the Chargers. He's had in the 60s the last 2 weeks. Does he break that streak tomorrow against Los Angeles? If you think so, give me an O. If you think under, give me a U. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break, so to make that time go by faster, go ahead and find this pinned comment and reply with over or under. It's going to be a little bit challenging against this Chargers rush defense because they're one of the best in the National Football League, 110.5 yards per game. That ranks them 10th in the NFL. But I did a little bit more of a deep dive to look into this one a little bit deeper, and I don't know if that stat is actually telling of how good this rush defense is because when you look at the opponents they've played and their opponents' rush yards per game, how they stack up to the rest of the NFL, they have not played a lot of good talent when it comes to running the football. Against the Raiders, they're the last in the NFL. Panthers, they're bottom 9. Steelers are top 10. Chiefs, they're bottom 10. Broncos, they're 20th. Cardinals, they're 5th. Saints, they're 9th. But then even those last 3, Browns, Titans, Bengals, all within the last half, and some of those in the bottom 6 of the NFL when it comes to rushing the football. And when Los Angeles plays a team that's in the top 10, how they did against the Saints, against the Steelers, against the Cardinals, they're letting up an average of 137.3 rushing yards per game, and that would rank them 4th. As the 4th worst rush defense in the National Football League. So I think this is a big key because they're not just playing a top 10 rush offense, they're playing the 2nd best rushing offense in the NFL. So if you want to win this game, they're susceptible when they play good rushing teams. You got to give the ball to Henry, okay? He needs a bounce back game in a big way, and I think it's going to come against Los Angeles. You heard me talk about it at the top of the show, but I'd love it if you guys hit that subscribe button. This is the best place to be if you're a Ravens fan on YouTube. You get daily Ravens videos, breaking news coverage. We go live for every single game. And the best part about it, and maybe turn the volume down, it's 100% free. It's all free, okay? Not a dime. Join the 22,000 plus Ravens fans we've got rocking with us here on Ravens Rundown. My number 2 key to victory is the pass defense needs to step up again, okay? And it's funny because a lot of these keys to victories in my past videos, previewing the matchup, a lot of these keys have been pass defense needs to play better. But you saw them play their best game of the year against Russell Wilson, the Steelers, so I need them to start stacking performances. Because against the Ravens, Russ had a 63% completion percentage, threw for 205 yards, didn't throw for a touchdown, and threw for a pick back of the end zone. Massive play by Marlon Humphrey, and had a quarterback rating of 14.5. And did you know that quarterback rating of 14.5 is Russ's third lowest since November of 2021? Okay? So you did something to him that not many defenses have been able to do in the last 3 years. But can you do it against Justin Herbert? That's the question, okay? Because you're facing a little bit better of a quarterback, in my opinion, tomorrow. This Pats defense, we all know the struggles, okay? We've seen this graphic a lot, and if you've been paying attention, they've actually gotten a lot better in these statistics. I know it seems kind of crazy. There's still a lot of 32s, a lot of late 20s in there. However, they went up in every single statistic except one. They're still 32nd in yards per game. They're 27th in yards per pass. They're 31st in the amount of times the opponent passes against them is 65.2% of the time. Yards after catch, they're 30th with 1,562. And yards after catch over expected, a little bit of a jump, 27th with 252 more than they should have. And it's easy to see why this team did so well against Pittsburgh when you just take a deeper dive at their coverage grades and you look at the numbers given by PFF. Marlon Humphrey, 81.2, fantastic grade by him. Kyle Hamilton, a 71.6. Darius Washington, he had an awesome day. And you heard John Harbaugh speak on Monday and say, Washington and Hamilton, those are going to be the two safeties we're rolling with right now. I think Darius Washington proved himself on Sunday. Tre'Davious White, man, I can verbally say, as of one game, I was wrong about you. 83.3 coverage grade, and then there's our man, Brandon Stevens, burnt toast himself with a 58.4. Absolutely horrendous. And when you look at the snap counts of those two, things are kind of starting to trend to Trey White's direction. Usually, Brandon Stevens has been the outright right cornerback on this team so far. He's taken almost 100% of this team's snaps at that position, but you saw Trey White take a few from him in the game against Pittsburgh. 20 snaps at that right quarterback position, compared to Brandon Stevens' 50. He's still got more, but I expect that to fluctuate even more tomorrow. He had 2 in the slot, 1 in the box, and Brandon Stevens had 6 in the slot and 4 in the box. So if this team is going to improve their pass defense, my opinion, I think you got to give a little more snaps to Trey White. We got 2 more keys coming up for you guys, but real quickly, I got to give a massive shout out to our sponsor on this channel, and that is Ollie. We're talking about the dogs, our dogs here on the Ravens. I'm going to talk about my dog coming up, but this is why you should use Ollie. It's clean, it's fresh, and it's the best and most nutritious food for your dog. And right now, Ollie is offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste test a personalized meal plan. Get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code ChatSports at Ollie.com. And 5 flavors they'll absolutely love. You don't have to be a vet to know that feeding your dog real, whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A perfectly portioned whole fresh food diet has been proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years, and who doesn't want more time with their best friend? Here's how it works. You fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz, and they'll create a customized meal plan. Ollie then crunches the numbers and recommends the right recipes and daily portions for your pup. For any first-timers, Ollie will send out your pup's first box with 2 weeks' worth of meals and a guide on how to gradually switch them over to their new diet. Ollie offers 3 fresh meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, a fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked ingredients. And guys, I want to tell you about my personal experience with using Ollie, okay? My wife and I, we don't have any kids. Well, actually, that's not true. We have one dog. Her name's Applesauce. She's our daughter. She's the light of our lives. And we like to make sure she's getting the best, the healthiest, and the most nutritious dog food that's out there. And that's why we use Ollie. And I know sometimes it can be stressful switching your dog's food over from one thing to another, especially when sometimes they have hurt stomachs, just like Applesauce does. But that's the great thing about Ollie is when they send you their package of food, they also send you with a pamphlet, and it perfectly shows you how to switch it over, what percentage of this new food to mix with the old food, and then just within 7 days, your pup, whether her name's Applesauce or not, will be eating only Ollie, and I can tell you this, they will be loving every single bite. So head on over to Ollie.com and tell them all about your dog. Use Chat Sports and get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Head to Ollie, OLLIE.com and enter code ChatSports. Get 60% off your first box. They offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you can get your money back. Alrighty, number 3 on my keys to victory. I need Lamar to get back on track, okay? And this is pretty obvious. It's obvious that he struggled against Pittsburgh, and he's done that pretty consistently in his career, but it was no different this past Sunday. He had a 48.5% completion percentage, his lowest so far this year, 207 yards, 1 interception, and he had a passer rating of 66.1. Again, his lowest of the year. And if you look a little bit deeper and you look at the passing chart, you could see how much he struggled. He didn't complete a pass beyond 20 yards. He barely completed a pass beyond 15 yards. Okay, a lot of it was done 5 yards or behind the line of scrimmage. And I know that the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they typically have a really good game plan going against Lamar, and that was no different on Sunday. So I need him to bounce back in a massive way. And there's some good news with this, is that in his career, he's lost to Pittsburgh a total of 4 times. He is 3-1 following a Pittsburgh loss in his career. So I need that to happen the exact same way, okay? I need him to bounce back the same way he's been able to in his career so far. And it's going to be harder to do it against this Chargers team because they've got a good quarterback in themselves and Justin Herbert. If you look at the quarterback duel that we'll be facing tomorrow night, they're both putting up great numbers. One a little bit better than the other, but still, Justin Herbert, 63.5% completion percentage. He's got just over 2,100 yards on the season, 13 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's got a rushing touchdown to add to his resume. Now, Lamar's got better numbers, but he's coming off, again, against the worst game of the year so far, and so we need to bounce back in a big way. And we've been monitoring this all season long, and it was no different on Sunday, that when Lamar has a sub-102 passer rating, which is still pretty high, this team hasn't been good this year, okay? Usually that's on the defense with Kansas City, especially with Las Vegas and with Cleveland. But this last one, it's not the defense's fault. They didn't give up a single touchdown all game long. I need Lamar to be better, and I'm not saying the loss was on Lamar either, but I need Lamar to be better than that 66.5 passer rating, okay? Because when he's not his best, so far this year, this team's lost, okay? And that brings me to my last key to victory. You got to break the Steeler curse. And I'm not talking about the fact that the Steelers have kind of had your number since the turn of the decade, but I'm talking about the fact that this year, teams are 0-7 the week after playing Pittsburgh. I'm going to let that sink in. They're 0-7. Now, that has a lot to do with the physical kind of game that Pittsburgh's used to playing, but still, it still rings true, right? Teams are worse after playing a physical team like Pittsburgh. And you got a little bit extra rest on the Chargers. You got a day's extra rest because they played that night game you played earlier in the day. And so, hopefully, that could be to your advantage, recovering from playing against such a physical team. But this game is crucial. Because you look at the next 4 games you have after this one, and I see 3 of those games as possible losses. Now, do I think you lose 3? No, I don't. But you're playing the Eagles. Thank goodness you got that one at home. You're on the road against the Giants. They suck. You're going to win that one. But then you play the Steelers, and then you play on the road against the Texans. Those are all in the next 4 games after Los Angeles. So I don't want to look at this one and say it's a must win, but it's definitely one that you can't afford to lose, okay? So I need guys like Lamar Jackson to be at their best. I need guys like Derrick Henry to get the ball. I'm looking at you, Todd Monken. Feed him, please. And I'm looking at this defense to put the same exact product they put on the field last Sunday against the Steelers and just do that again against Los Angeles. So what is my score prediction, you ask? I got a close one. And I'm hitting the spread on the nail. I've got the Ravens winning by 3, 34-31. It's going to be a high-scoring affair, but I think you pull it out, even though it's on the road. We know how good Lamar is on primetime. We know even how much better he is on Monday nights. He's virtually undefeated in his career, and so I think that streak continues, and I think you get the win 34-31. I predicted it. Now it's time for your turn to predict it in the comment section down below. Let me know, and as always, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow night.